Hey YouTube, I'm cruising the land. Hey YouTube, I'm cruising the land and overlanding is about to get expensive. Stay tuned, grab your favorite beverage, sit back, relax, and let's go over how overlanding is going to change with all these tariffs and with all these products that are being produced in China. So for instance, you're looking at my 200 series here. And in the 200 series, I got drawers, got a rear bumper, rooftop tent, fridge, cases. All of this is going to be affected by tariffs. Well, that's if it's made in China. So let's face it, all products in the overlanding world, majority are made in China. Some stuff's made in the US, some stuff's made in Germany or South Africa or Japan or different places in the world, and not a whole bunch in the US, unfortunately. So that means all prices are going up. Steel, aluminum going up. So in this video, I really wanted to kind of share some insight because I do talk to a lot of people in the overland world, in the supply chain, and something crazy has happened recently. So I think with all this talk of tariffs, everybody's seeing kind of the same pricing and no one's panicked yet. Well, because it's just about to hit. We're at the right at the tip of the iceberg where things are going to tip over. And yeah, a lot of companies are going to hit that iceberg and they're going to sink, or they're going to stop selling, or they have to jack up their prices. So this is Otis, my 80 series. So looking at this immediately, awnings. The vast majority of awnings are made in China. Not that one. We'll get into that in a second. Cases, Rome 23-0, made in China. Pelican, US, for the vast majority of their cases. Boards, don't have to worry, these are made in the US. Don't have to worry about that. Roof racks, a lot of roof racks are made in the US, so we're kind of okay there, but what are they made out of? Aluminum metal, that's about to go up. Bumpers, not very many bumpers made in China. The lights made in the US, at least on this rig, but there's so many other overland lights that are made in China. One of the big ones, rooftop tents, 99% made in China, unless you're getting it from Europe, you know, the high-end brands that are going to cost you a pretty penny. So are you ready for the shocker? Let me tell you what happened here recently. A boat arrived, and that's this week, into the port of Los Angeles, or here in California. And what did they have aboard? They had awnings, they had rooftop tents, and guess what? They got hit with 145% tariff. So the company that was receiving it, yeah, US company that's getting it manufactured in China with their partners, they don't own the manufacturing, it's their partner. Well, a $300,000 bill. So you know what they said? We don't have that money. We can't pay for that. So they turned it away. You're talking multiple containers turned away, going where? Back to China. Do you think China's going to be happy? You think the partners are going to say like, hey, no worries, you know, no problem, my friend. We'll take it back. Hell no. So this is going to disrupt relationships, partnerships. You know, when it all comes down to the money, that's why US companies went to China to get drawers and fridges and things made, awnings, rooftop tents, you know, the list goes on and on. So batteries, think about it, Blue Eddy, Jackery, EcoFlow, it's none of that's made in the US. We don't even have the lithium to do it. It's all made in China. So all these products are about to be jacked up in price, big time. So that's pretty scary. So imagine, you know, would you as a company pay this huge amount of tariffs? Because the tariffs aren't truly on the importer. It's basically the US consumer that's going to have to pay it. But who has to pay it first is the company. If the company can't afford it, then that's a major problem. What made me think of this video is, you know, not only knowing that information about the containers getting turned away, but I got a couple awnings here delivered, not from China. My awnings, my drawers, they're all made in South Africa. My action tracks that I rep, made in the US. So let's get to it. First off, fridges. So this is an ARB, but if I'm not mistaken, I saw on the label on the side. Maybe I'll pause for a second to verify. Okay, that's right. There it is. Made in China. So even though it's ARB and you're like, oh, ARB, they're made in Australia. No, my friends, China. So not these drawers. These drawers are made in South Africa. So they're not subject to 145% tariffs, but most drawers, ARB, just like this fridge, China, Dobinson, China. So China, 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 so many of these drawers. So what are they going to do? Import it and say, oh, we have, $250,000 in this container. How much is our tariff? Oh, the tariff is 1.5 times that. That's crazy. So it is game over. Like the China manufacturing has met the final boss and they're never going to beat it, which is these tariffs. Crazy. This made in Germany. So we're okay. It's aluminum finished product, so I'm not quite sure how that's going to affect. But again, when you think about the tariffs, who is getting the biggest tariff of all? It's China. And why China? Because it's the biggest trading partner with the US, and it's the country that, quite frankly, has taken the most advantage of the US. But we're also guilty, because think about it. Let's look at this rooftop tent. Rooftop tents under multiple brand names. A bunch of US companies and their executives sat in their boardrooms and said, hey, let's get this rooftop tent made in China, and we'll undercut the competition and we'll sell them for $2,200. You know, first it started at $3,000, then 25, and you saw the prices drop. Well, until this one, and I'm not too proud to admit, I'm not too shy to admit, that's Chinese. Well, they all are, but that's a no name. I mean, I know the brand that they copied and were manufacturing for, and then they made a shit ton of them. They brought them here to Southern California and different parts around the US, different warehouses. When I went to the warehouse, guess what? I paid, I think, $850 for that rooftop tent. And I love it because it's a streamlined tent. Yeah, you have to change the carpeting. It's not a winter rooftop tent. It's a summertime. So don't count on it cutting down cold weather. You know, you have to have the proper sleeping arrangements inside. But that's as cheap as, you can't make that in the US for $850. And they shipped it here. And that warehouse had hundreds of them. When I was there on a Saturday, there was people lining up, picking them up, putting them on their trucks. That is over. But all, US kind of quote unquote brand names, they're being made in China. The only real rooftop tent, maybe Go Fast in the US, the James, that high-end one comes out of Europe, but they're priced super expensive. So cheap overlanding is over. It's done. Take these drawers, for instance. So they're not ARB or Dobinson. These are phenomenal drawers. They're my favorite, and that's why I rep them now. And I was just testing today putting black ice versus stainless steel. What do you like better, the left or the right? But these are not the cheapest drawers on the market. They're also not the most expensive drawers on the market, but they are the best built drawers on the market. That's for sure. And again, I was a customer first before working with them. Made in South Africa, which is subject to a 10% tariff at the time being, not 145%, which again, that's on the import price, right? So it's not the retail price per se, it's the import price, the wholesale price. So what we've done is we have not done any price increase. So these drawers, yeah, Dobinson and the ARB are cheaper by a few $100 or maybe $600-700, but they're cheaper. Like literally cheaper, not just in price, but in quality. These are top quality. Like to me, Japan, Germany, South Africa, these are some of the best manufacturers, and the US, when they decide to make something in the US, are the best manufacturers as far as quality and engineering and making something right, choosing the right materials. Like when you talk about drawers, it's all about that. Those bearings are super important, and these are the most expensive bearings that you can buy. They don't cheap out. That whole metal piece is one solid piece going through, like making a big letter U, so nothing can squeak. They are awesome. So quality though. So by the title of my video, cheap overlanding is over. Quality overlanding, where you pay a little bit of a premium or a normal price for a quality product, well, that's here, because anything that's not quality is coming from where? From China. Now, that being said, I do work with IceCo and, ARB. They're going to China. IceCo is made in China. There's some Chinese products that are quality built. And the problem is, Dometic, all the brands, they're all made in China because they have become very good at making fridges, their compressors and what have you. But problem is they are subject to that massive tariff. That tariff is made, like China said, make it 1,000,000%. It doesn't matter. Once you get up to, over 100% tariff, it doesn't matter how much it is, because it's basically putting an end to that business. So just like a tsunami that slowly approaches and people kind of walk out to the water, oh, why is the water receding? Isn't this interesting? That's what the last couple months have been since all this tariff talk. No one's seen it in the market. No one's seen prices change until now, where Amazon is now putting an extra line item saying tariff fee. Temu and the Shein also are now putting, like I saw on the news, 3 pair of biker shorts is the example they use, for $23 is now $56 with the tariffs. So it's real, everybody. It's real. But have you ever ordered something from Temu? I have. It looked great at 11 o'clock at night, a couple beers in. It's like, I ordered that. And then when I got it delivered, I'm like, why is this thing so small? And they had a hand model holding it. Oh, was it like a 7-year-old kid holding this flashlight? And geez, it sucks. So, fool me once, fool me twice, shame on me, right? So Temu, people that keep ordering from that, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get poor quality crap. That's why the price is so darn good. Probably 1 out of 100 products that you can get from Temu is going to be a decent product. The rest are crap. So the crap days are over, guys. And because what'll happen is, are you going to pay for, let's say, cheap Chinese drawers or a cheap awning from China? Are you going to pay their tariff? So those like $595 awning, are you going to pay $1,500? Hell no. Like, for instance, this awning. This awning is it's just under $1,600. It's $1,535. But this is the ultimate awning. It's a full 270, the best built. You can do pull-ups right here at the joint. It's that sturdy, but it's quality. I have people that have had, from the what is it called, OVS awnings. Yeah, they're cheap and they got suckered in and they got a poor quality awning. I've sold so many awnings to people that have already an awning on it that said, this is junk. This is the ultimate. So luckily this is not made in China, and that's why it is the ultimate. So still, there'll be deals and people will now be not forced, but they won't have options to buy cheap crap. They'll be buying quality or expensive Chinese tariffed products. So those expensive Chinese tariff products, they're going to be disappearing. And if you have a favorite company that you were buying gear from, you're about to find out, where were they making this stuff? Was it here in the US or was it China? And you know how you're going to know? On their website pretty soon, it's going to say out of stock, not available, or if it is available, it's going to be for some astronomical price. And you're going to say, what? This case used to sell for $350. Now they want $1,000? What? It's from China. That's why. Something I didn't talk about, winches. Many winches. I don't know if all of Warren winches are made in China, but I guarantee you a vast majority are. And Badlands and all the Harbor Freight stuff, China. Those are all going to go up to astronomical prices. So if you are on a website here in the coming days or weeks and you see something super cheap, pull the trigger, buy that cheap shit while you can. Buy that crappy Chinese product while it's available, because soon it will no longer be priced at that steep discount. So comment below, share with me what you think, share what products that you've already seen go up in astronomical pricing. You know, it's a shame. There's a couple, I'll just give you this for instance. This light is awesome. Made in China. Devos, made in China. They might bring it to the US. It's an awesome light. So there's some stuff that is quality. Fridges, they make, you know, a lot of brands, quality. Lights, quality. This right now, because luckily they have enough US inventory, you can still get this for, it's usually $199. You can get it for $134 with my discount. I got a video all about that light. Check it out. But once inventories dwindle, these companies have no choice but to jack up their price. The Devos Light Ranger, I'll put a link below. If you're ready to get one now. I got 10% off. Get it while you can, because who knows what's going to happen. And a lot of these companies, if they start manufacturing in the US, it's going to take them not months, years to get up to that capacity to start doing that. So pull the trigger while you can, buy while you can. Yeah, well, that's it. Roof racks, I think you're in luck. You can get the Prinsus, the front runners, you know, all the ones that have a ton of bolts keeping it together. So good luck on fire roads. But those, they make all those bars, like they mass produce them. They make them in the US. This is fully welded. So, you know, when you get serious about overlanding, again, it's cheap versus quality. So that is a quality roof rack, that's for sure. But yeah, luckily to keep the roof racks cheap, I think they will stay relatively cheap, apart from the fact they're made from aluminum. So those prices will go up. But rooftop tents, it's over. Those, me buying that for $850, over. Buying cases. So that rig's got a couple cases, you just can't see it. So let's just zoom in on Otis. So those cases up top, they're awesome. They're Rome. I love those cases. But guess what? Made in China. Those are going up. I think luckily the, do I see it on this rig? No, I can see it on this rig. The Rotopacks, I think we're still good. Those are made in the US, in Utah. So those don't get shipped over. They're light, they're easy. They can make them in the US. So there's some products that will, you know, pricing will remain normal if it's a US based product. And if it's majorities built in China, forget it. The price is like, again, are you going to pay what you used to pay $1,400 for like a $1,500 for a Dobinson or ARB drawer system? That will squeak at some point. Mark my words. Are you going to still buy it when it's $3,500? Hell no, because you'll have so many other options that are much higher quality. So it's going to even the playing field, and it's going to force you to finally get quality gear. Well, not you. I'm not accusing you right there sitting in your chair watching this video. I'm talking about a lot of people out there that like to buy cheap gear. Well, those days are done. I think that we're about to see a change in the overland space, and it's going to be interesting in the coming months as more and more containers get refused at the port and sent back to the country they came from. Boy, oh boy, what a conundrum that is. All right, thanks for tuning in and letting me bend your ear on this subject. And definitely comment. I read all comments, and many other people do too. Let us know your thoughts. All right, happy trails, and go get your gear while you can.